We see so many ads and emails every day. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, how are we supposed to know which ones are for real, which ones are just noise?
Yeah, and it
Right.
feels like everyone's trying to get our attention these days.
Totally. So how do we cut through all that, all
Yeah.
that noise and figure out what actually makes a message persuasive one that really works?
Right,
That's what we're going to dig into today, right?
right. We're diving into the art of persuasive writing.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
And get this, we've got our hands on some seriously cool material for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Excerpts from AWAI's copywriting program.
Wow, that's big time.
I know, right? So it's like we're getting a backstage pass to see how the pros actually do it.
Definitely. This is how the best copywriters out there create those ads and emails we see every single day. And the cool part is, by the end of this, you'll be able to look at any marketing message and, like, decode it.
Ooh, I like that.
You'll see exactly how it's put together and even learn how to use those techniques yourself.
Love it. Okay, so where do we even start with something like this?
It all starts with really getting your audience.
Okay, so not just like their age or what city they live in.
Nope, gotta go deeper than that.
We're
We're talking about really understanding their motivations, what makes them tick, what are they struggling with.
And what do they actually want?
Exactly. And the material uses this great example. They call him Frank Malarkey.
Frank Malarkey. Okay, I kind of love that name.
Right. So picture Frank as this skeptical consumer. He's seen it all, heard it all.
Oh, I know a Frank. Good luck selling him on anything.
Exactly. But that's what makes him the perfect example. Because if you can convince someone like that, you can pretty much convince anyone.
Okay, I'm listening. So how do we win over Frank? How do we write something that speaks to someone who sees right through the BS?
You have to get to know him.
Right.
What keeps him up at night? What are his frustrations? And honestly, what does he secretly wish he had?
So it's less about throwing a bunch of information at him and more about connecting with him on an emotional level.
Exactly. You have to figure out those emotional triggers and craft a message that speaks directly to them.
So like how would we do that with something, say, a health supplement?
Okay, so Frank's probably heard every weight loss claim in the book. He probably thinks it's all a bunch of hype.
Right, totally.
But what if, instead of promising some miracle weight loss, we focus on something more relatable? Something like having more energy to play with his grandkids or whatever's important to him.
So we're not just selling a product, but a way to enhance his life, make it better. That feels way more genuine.
Exactly. It's about understanding what really matters to your audience and then framing your message in a way that feels personal and resonates with their values and aspirations.
Okay, so knowing your audience, that's huge. But there's still so much noise out there. How do we make sure our message actually cuts through all of that?
That's where the power of one comes in.
The power of one. Okay, I'm intrigued. Sounds kind of mystical.
It's really about understanding that less is more, especially these days when we're hit with like a million messages a minute.
Okay, so instead of trying to say everything at once.
Exactly. You want to focus on just one powerful idea. One.
Got it. So like clarity, laser focus. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you're saying pick one thing and make it awesome.
Exactly. Think about those ad campaigns that really stick with you. They usually have that one really strong message.
Like Nike. Just do it. So
Yeah.
simple, but you remember it.
Right. Or Apple. Think different. Just 2 words, but so powerful.
It's amazing how much weight a single phrase can have.
And it's not just slogans, right? It can be a really powerful image or even one really mind-blowing statistic that just like changes your whole perspective.
It's like finding that one thing that really cuts through all the clutter and then bam, makes an impact.
Yes. The power of one is all about distilling your message down to that one core idea, the most impactful one. Make it count.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
we've talked about knowing your audience and now this whole power of one thing. But how do we guarantee that that message, the one we choose, that it's really going to resonate, really land?
Great question. And this is where the 4 U's come in. Think of them as like the 4 pillars of, compelling content. Unique, urgent, useful, ultra-specific.
Okay, let's break them down. Unique, huh? That feels tricky these days. Like, how do you even be unique anymore?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It feels like everything's been done before.
Right?
But there's always a way. You just have to dig a little deeper, find that thing that makes your product or service, your message, stand out.
So, like, is it a cool feature, a different approach, or even just, like, the personality of your brand?
All of that. It's about finding your special sauce, what makes you you. Okay, now urgent. How do we make something feel urgent without, being one of those annoying limited time offer things?
Right, because those are so overdone.
Totally. Urgency is really about highlighting why now's the right time to take action. It could be something happening in the market or your field or a limited time opportunity that's actually, legit.
I get it. It's not about making stuff up. It's about tapping into what's already happening and making it relevant to your audience. Okay,
Yeah.
useful. That one seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but it's so often overlooked. People are busy, they're drowning in information. So if your message isn't actually providing something useful, like solving a problem, answering a question, they're just going to tune out, click away.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Ultra specific. Why is that so important?
Think about it. When someone's really specific, you're more likely to believe them, right? Instead of just throwing out these vague claims, back it up with real examples, data, testimonials, all that good stuff.
So instead of being like, this product will change your life, which, come on. Everyone says you'd say something like, this product will help you get through your to-do list by lunch so you can actually leave work early for once.
Now you're talking. You're giving people something tangible to latch onto, making it way more relatable and persuasive.
Love it. The 4 U's, it's like a cheat sheet for creating content that actually cuts through. But we don't just want compelling, we want persuasive. Like, how do we seal the deal? What's next?
That's where the 4 P's of persuasive writing come in. Picture, promise, prove, and push.
Okay, so we're on to the 4 P's of persuasive writing. Picture, promise, prove, and push. It's like we're building something, right? Like a whole narrative or something.
It really is. It's like you're taking your audience on a little journey, and just like with a good story, you got to grab their attention.
Keep them hooked.
Exactly. You build that anticipation, and then boom, you deliver.
I like it. Okay, so let's start with picture. What's that all about? How do you actually paint that picture, especially if you're talking about like financial stuff or software, things that aren't exactly, visual?
That's where the real creativity comes in. You got to translate those ideas into something that people can really connect with. Instead of just listing out a bunch of boring features, paint a picture of how those features are going to make their life better.
Okay, so instead of our software increases efficiency, which is like the most boring thing ever, you can say something like, imagine actually getting to leave work early to see your kid's game. Our software can make that happen.
Exactly. Suddenly, it's not just about the software. It's about that feeling, that result you're craving. You're selling a better version of their life.
I feel like I need to write that down.
The
Okay,
life-
what about promise?
Mhm.
What makes a promise believable, one that people actually buy into?
It has to be specific.
Oh,
Like
sure.
super specific. Think about our skeptical buddy, Frank. If you promise him effortless weight loss, he's going to see right through that.
Gone. Deleted.
Exactly. But if you promise him something like, you'll have the energy to enjoy your weekends again, that's more believable.
All right. Way more relatable.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the picture, we've made the promise, but now we have to back it up. It's proof time, right?
Right. This is where you got to bring out the big guns. Testimonials, case studies, cold, hard data, whatever it takes to erase that doubt.
Show me the receipts. I love it.
And the type of proof, it really depends on your audience. Some people, they're swayed by facts and figures. Others, it's all about the emotional connection, hearing stories from real people.
So know your audience. Got it. We're almost there, right? What's the last P?
The push, that final nudge to get them to actually take action.
Okay, so that's our call to action. Make it count.
Exactly. Make it clear, simple, download the guide, sign up today, whatever that action is.
And no wishy-washy language.
Got it.
This has been amazing. Seriously, so insightful. We've covered so much, from understanding our audience to crafting a story that really sells. Any parting words of wisdom for our listeners?
This is a skill, persuasive writing. It takes practice, but anyone can learn it.
I love that. It's not some magical gift. It's something you can actually work on and get better at.
Exactly. The more you do it, the easier it gets. You'll start to instinctively know how to connect with your audience, how to create those compelling narratives that actually get results.
This has been another awesome deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone. And hey, next time you see an ad or email that really grabs you, don't just click away. Think about what they did, what made it work. It's like free copywriting lessons everywhere. Until next time.